My wife sobbed. I want to have another baby with my ex. You'll just pay for everything, right? I stared at her in disbelief and said, "Run that by me again?" She doubled down. I calmly called my attorney right there. Her face when she realized I was recording the whole conversation. I, 34 male, have been married to my wife, 32, for 6 years. We have a 4-year-old son together. Until 3 weeks ago, I thought we had a solid marriage. Not perfect, but good. We communicated, we laughed, we planned futures. Then she dropped a bomb that I'm still processing. Quick background. My wife has a daughter, now 9, from her previous relationship. Her ex ended things when their daughter was about 2 years old because he wasn't ready to be a father. Classic deadbeat move. He paid minimal child support, showed up maybe twice a year for birthday parties, and basically treated fatherhood like an optional subscription service he kept forgetting to cancel. When I came into the picture, I stepped up. I've been that little girl's dad in every way that matters for 5 years. School pickups, homework help, dance recitals, the whole thing. Her bio dad is basically a stranger who sends a card at Christmas with a 20 inside. So 3 weeks ago, my wife sits me down after the kids are in bed. She's been acting weird for about a month, secretive phone calls, stepping out to clear her head, that kind of thing. I figured she was stressed about work. Nope. She starts crying. Not sad crying, more like nervous crying, like she knew what she was about to say was insane but was gonna say it anyway. I need to tell you something, and I need you to keep an open mind. Okay. I've been talking to my ex about our daughter. My stomach dropped. Talking how? Just reconnecting. He's changed. He wants to be more involved in her life. I took a breath. Look, I don't love that idea, but if the guy genuinely wants to step up for his kid, that's ultimately good for her. Okay, we can figure out a visitation schedule or something. That's not all. Here it comes. He and I have been talking about having another baby together. I actually laughed, like out loud, because surely she was joking. What? He wants to give our daughter a full sibling, someone who shares both her parents. And I think I want that too. I stared at her. The crying intensified. He'll still be our son's father. Nothing changes with him, but I want to give my daughter what she deserves, a real family with her real father. Run that by me again? I know it sounds crazy. It doesn't sound crazy. It is crazy. You want to have a baby with your ex while we're married. It wouldn't be cheating. You'd know about it. Oh well, that changes everything, as long as I know my wife is getting pregnant by another man. You're not listening. This isn't about us. It's about my daughter. Your daughter has a family. She has a brother, a stepfather who's been raising her, and a mother. That is a real family. She got defensive then. You wouldn't understand. You're not her real dad. That one hit different. 5 years. 5 years of being there, and I'm still not real to her. Okay, let's say I agree to this insane proposal. What exactly are you expecting from me? Well, he doesn't make much money, like at all, and I'd need to take time off work for the pregnancy, so you'd just help financially. Like you do now, the baby would live here. You'd be like an uncle figure. An uncle figure to my wife's baby with another man. You're making it sound weird. It is weird. It's the definition of weird. Lots of families have unconventional structures these days. This isn't unconventional. This is you asking me to be a cuckold with a checkbook. Don't use that word. That's gross. So is this entire conversation. Now here's where I did something that saved my life. About 2 months ago, I started using a voice memo app on my phone whenever we had serious conversations. Not because I suspected anything, just because I have a terrible memory and I wanted to remember important things we discussed. Doctor recommendations, financial decisions, that kind of stuff. That app was running. I don't understand why you're being so selfish about this, she said. I've given you 6 years. I gave you a son. The least you can do is support my decision. Your decision, not our decision, yours. Some things aren't up for discussion. This is what I need. I stood up. I need to make a phone call. To who? I pulled out my phone and dialed my attorney. Yeah, I have an attorney. We used him for our wills and some property stuff. Figured he'd know someone for this. Hey, it's me. Sorry to call so late. I need a referral for a divorce attorney, tonight if possible. My wife's face went white. What are you doing? I held up a finger. 1 second. My attorney gave me a name, said he'd text the number. I thanked him and hung up. You're overreacting, she said. I haven't even done anything yet. Yet. T-word. You just told me you want to get pregnant by your ex and have me foot the bill. That's enough. I didn't say I was definitely going to do it. I said I was thinking about it. And I'm definitely thinking about divorce. Funny how that works. Then I told her something that made her go from pale to gray. By the way, I've been recording this conversation. Voice memos. Just so we're clear about what was said tonight. She stared at my phone like it was a loaded weapon. You can't do that. That's illegal. One-party consent state. Look it up. She started screaming then. Actually screaming. About betrayal, about privacy, about how I'd trapped her. I just stood there and let her burn herself out. When she finally stopped, I said, I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. Tomorrow we're going to have a very different conversation with lawyers. Update 1. 1 week later. So things escalated. Shocker. After that night, I contacted the divorce attorney my guy recommended. Sat down with her 2 days later, played the recording, and her exact words were, well, that's certainly a new one. She explained what I was looking at. 6 years of marriage, 2 kids, 1 mine biologically, 1 I've been raising, assets accumulated during marriage, including our house. The division wouldn't be clean or fun. But she said the recording was gold, not necessarily admissible in court depending on circumstances, but incredibly useful for settlement negotiations. No judge is going to look kindly on a woman who asked her husband to finance her pregnancy with an ex, she said. This gives you leverage. Meanwhile, at home, my wife had launched a full campaign. First, the tears. Constant tears. I made a mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. Can't we just forget I ever said it? You weren't confused. You had a whole plan. You'd clearly been thinking about this for a while. I was vulnerable. He manipulated me. So you're the victim now. Got it. Then came the family pressure. Her mother called me. This woman has never liked me. I wasn't good enough for her daughter, apparently, despite being the one who actually stuck around and raised her granddaughter. You need to forgive her. Marriages go through rough patches. Ma'am, with respect, your daughter asked me to pay for her to have a baby with another man. That's not a rough patch. That's an exit sign. She was just exploring her feelings. Marriage is about compromise. Ma'am, she didn't ask me to compromise on vacation destinations or paint colors. She asked me to finance her having another man's child while remaining married to me. There's no compromise position there. None. You men are all the same, so rigid, so unwilling to grow. If growing means accepting my wife getting pregnant by her ex, I'll stay exactly the size I am, thanks. She called me cold, heartless, and, my personal favorite, emotionally unavailable. Then hung up. Her sister got involved too. Showed up at our house uninvited while my wife was at work. You're really going to destroy your family over this? I'm destroying the family? Your sister wants to start a second family with her ex while I fund the whole operation. I'm just responding to that. She said she didn't mean it like that. She was just thinking out loud. Thinking out loud about getting pregnant by another man, finding a fertility clinic, expecting me to pay for everything, and having me be the uncle figure to the kid. That's a lot of detail for thinking out loud. You're twisting her words. There's audio. I know exactly what her words were. Her sister's face changed. You recorded her? Sure did. That's disgusting. You violated her trust. She violated our marriage vows, but go off. This is exactly why she needs her real family around her. You've never understood her. I understood her fine for 6 years. What I didn't understand was that I was just a placeholder until her ex decided to come back. She left. I assume she reported back because my wife came home that night with a completely different strategy. Righteous anger. You're trying to destroy me, she said. You recorded a private conversation to use against me in court. I recorded a conversation where you asked me to fund your affair, baby. Slight difference. It wouldn't have been an affair. I told you about it. That's not the defense you think it is. I want that recording deleted. No. I'm serious. Delete it, or I'll tell everyone you're an abusive, controlling husband who records his wife without consent. I actually smiled at that one. Go ahead, and I'll play the recording for anyone who asks. Let's see whose story people believe. She didn't have a response to that. The next few days, she tried different tactics. Love bombing. Suddenly she was cooking my favorite meals, being extra sweet, suggesting date nights. When that didn't work, she weaponized the kids. She started telling our son that Daddy might be going away for a while. He's 4. He started crying every time I left for work, asking if I was coming back. That broke me, not gonna lie. I had to sit him down and explain that Daddy wasn't going anywhere, that both Mommy and Daddy loved him, but that we were figuring some things out. The older one, my stepdaughter, was quieter about it. But I noticed her watching me differently, nervously, like she was waiting for me to disappear too. I pulled her aside one night. Hey, whatever happens with me and your mom, I'm still gonna be here for you, okay? You're my kid too. She hugged me hard. Didn't say anything, didn't need to. That was the moment I knew I was doing the right thing. Whatever my wife had become, those kids deserved stability. And I couldn't provide that while married to someone who saw me as a wallet with legs. Update 2. 3 weeks later. Alright, things got messy, really messy. I filed for divorce. My wife was served at her workplace, which she was furious about. I didn't specifically request that. Process servers go where they go, but she was convinced I'd done it to humiliate her. Everyone saw. My coworkers are talking about me. Maybe they're talking about why you're getting divorced. That's the more interesting story. You're such a piece of work. Her response to getting served was to get her own attorney. Her mother's paying for it, apparently, and go on the offensive. First move. She filed for temporary spousal support and child support, claiming I had abandoned the family by sleeping in the guest room. Her attorney argued that my emotional withdrawal constituted a form of abandonment. My attorney shut that down fast, showed the recording to her attorney in a private meeting. I wasn't in the room, but apparently his face went through several stages of grief. He came back with a much more reasonable counterproposal. But my wife wasn't done. She started playing dirty. She told her daughter's school that I was no longer an authorized pickup for the kid. Just removed me from the list. When I showed up one day to grab her early for a dentist appointment I'd scheduled, the office looked at me like I was some kind of predator. I'm sorry, sir, but you're not on the authorized list. I've been picking her up for 5 years. Her mother removed you yesterday. You'll need to contact her directly. I called my wife. What the hell? She's my daughter. You have no legal rights to her. That one stung because it was technically true. I'd never formally adopted her. We'd talked about it years ago, but her ex never signed away his rights, so it was complicated. At the time, it didn't seem urgent. Now I was paying for that. You're using your daughter as a weapon. I'm protecting my daughter from a hostile situation. I've been nothing but good to that girl. And now you're divorcing her mother. Actions have consequences. The irony was so thick I could have choked on it. The next move was financial. We had a joint credit card for household expenses. She maxed it out, $8,000 in 2 weeks. Designer bags, spa treatments, and, here's the kicker, a consultation fee at a fertility clinic. Yeah, she was still planning to have that baby. I froze the card. She called screaming, "You can't just cut me off." I just did. That card was for groceries and gas, not Gucci bags and baby consultations with your ex. That's my money too. Take it up with your attorney. Her mother got involved again. Called me 36 times in one day. I stopped answering after the third voicemail, which consisted of her calling me every name in the book and promising I'd regret this for the rest of my life. Around this time, her ex entered the picture directly. He'd been a ghost up until now, but apparently my wife told him everything, and he decided to weigh in. He showed up at my office, just walked right in during lunch hour. "We need to talk." I looked at this guy. The one who abandoned his daughter for 7 years, the one my wife wanted to have another baby with, the one who thought he could waltz back in and claim what I'd built, and I felt nothing but contempt. "No, we don't." "Look, man, I get that you're upset, but what happens between me and her isn't really your business anymore. She's still my wife until the papers are signed. Not for long, from what I hear. And once that's done, she's fair game. We've got plans. Big plans. I just figured you'd want to know so you can stop fighting it." "Plans that include what, exactly? You making minimum wage while she raises 3 kids? Because that math doesn't add up, buddy. His face twitched. I'm between opportunities right now. You've been between opportunities for 9 years. At what point does that just become unemployment? You don't know anything about my situation. I know you didn't pay child support half the time. I know you missed your daughter's first day of school, her first dance recital, her surgery when she got her tonsils out. I know you're standing in my office acting like you won something, when all you did was catch a woman desperate enough to blow up her life for a fantasy. He stepped closer. Watch your mouth. I didn't flinch. Get out of my office before I call security. And good luck with those big plans. You're gonna need it. He left, but not before throwing one more gem. She was always too good for you anyway. I called my attorney immediately after, documented everything, added it to the file. Update 3. Final update, 2 months later. This is the last update. Things are settled enough that I can finally breathe. The divorce is finalized. It wasn't pretty, but it's done. Here's how it shook out. The house was the big fight. We bought it during our marriage and had both names on the deed. She wanted to keep it. I wanted to sell it and split the proceeds. Her argument was that the kids needed stability, that ripping them from their home was cruel. My attorney's counter-argument was that she'd already destabilized the family by, planning to have a baby with her ex. The recording came up again. Her attorney tried to get it excluded, but even without it being formally admitted, the judge had seen enough of the overall picture. Final ruling, house gets sold. Proceeds split 55 to 45 in her favor because of the children. I was bitter about that 5%, but my attorney told me to take the win. You're walking away clean. That's rare for men in divorce court. She's right. I've seen guys get absolutely destroyed. Losing 45% of a house sale was the best case scenario. Child support for my son was straightforward, calculated based on income, shared custody arrangement. I'll pay a reasonable amount. No complaints there. He's my kid, and I want him taken care of. Spousal support was the fight. She wanted 3 years of alimony. Her argument was that she'd sacrificed career advancement to raise the children. My attorney presented financial records showing that I'd been the primary earner the entire marriage, that I'd paid for her to go back to school 2 years ago, and that she was perfectly capable of supporting herself. We also submitted a log of the credit card spending spree, including that fertility clinic consultation. The judge was not impressed. Final ruling, 12 months of rehabilitative alimony at a reduced rate. After that, she's on her own. Her mother was apparently in the courtroom for the final hearing. She stood up and called me a monster, loud enough for everyone to hear. The bailiff escorted her out. I didn't react. At this point, her family's opinion of me is somewhere below the Mariana Trench, and I couldn't care less. Now here's where the story gets its ending. Remember the ex? The guy who showed up at my office talking about fair game? 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I got a call from my stepdaughter's school. Emergency contact. They couldn't reach her mother. I rushed over. My stepdaughter was fine, just had a fever and needed to go home. But she looked terrified when she saw me. I thought you weren't allowed to pick me up anymore. Your mom put me back on the list. It's okay. She started crying. Not from the fever, from relief. My mom says I have to go live with my dad sometimes now. She says he's going to be around more. My heart sank. How do you feel about that? I don't want to. I don't know him. He's like a stranger. I held her hand. Whatever happens, I'm still here. You can call me whenever you need to. Okay? Promise? Promise. I took her home, to my wife's new apartment. The house had sold, and she'd moved into a 2-bedroom place across town. When I dropped off my stepdaughter, my ex-wife was there with her ex. They were arguing, loudly. Through the door I could hear, "You said you wanted this. You said you wanted to be a family." I wanted to try, okay? But this is a lot. The kid, the divorce stuff, you being stressed all the time. I left my husband for you. I never asked you to do that. I knocked. The arguing stopped. My ex-wife opened the door, mascara running down her face. "She's got a fever," I said, handing over our stepdaughter. The school called. My ex-wife didn't say anything, just took the kid and closed the door. Her ex was already putting on his jacket. I saw him through the window as I walked to my car. He was on his phone, walking the other direction, leaving again. Probably had another woman on the line already. Some people never change. I found out later from mutual acquaintances what happened after. He bounced within a week of moving in with her. Apparently living with a newly divorced woman and her 2 kids was too much pressure. He wanted the fantasy, the idea of a family, not the actual work of having one. Classic. My ex-wife tried to get back together with me exactly once. She sent a long text about how she'd lost herself and made mistakes and hoped we could find our way back to each other eventually. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. That was 3 weeks ago. I've got my son half the time now, week on, week off. He's adjusting. It's hard, but he's a resilient kid. He asks about his mom a lot. I tell him she loves him and that he'll see her soon. I keep my opinions to myself. He doesn't need to carry my baggage. My stepdaughter texts me almost every day. Memes, mostly. Sometimes questions about homework. I answer every single one. I might not have legal rights to her, but she's still my kid in every way that matters. I've told her that if things ever get bad at her mom's place, she can call me. I've documented everything, talked to my attorney about options. If her mother's life becomes too chaotic, I want to be ready to step up. As for my ex-wife, she's learning what consequences means. Her dream of a perfect family with her ex is crumbling because, surprise, a man who abandons one kid isn't going to stick around for another. She's got 12 months of alimony and then she's on her own. Her mother can only bail her out so many times. Do I feel sorry for her? Some days. She threw away a stable life for a fantasy. That's sad, but she made her choice. She looked at everything I provided, the stability, the partnership, the love, and decided it wasn't enough. She wanted something I couldn't give her, and she was willing to burn everything down to get it. That's not on me. That's on her. The recording? I've still got it. Backed up in 3 places. My attorney says to keep it forever. You never know when someone might try to rewrite history. For everyone asking about advice, trust your instincts. When something feels wrong, it probably is. Document everything. And know your worth. I spent 6 years building a family, and the moment I was asked to fund my own replacement, I knew exactly what I was worth to her. Nothing. I deserve better than nothing. So do you. Thanks for following along. Take care of yourselves.